So on this template, there's a couple of places where like these bullet points here and like the arrows
Mm.
and these green arrows, there's no way where you can see to change it because these come up as bullet points and you're like, but maybe you don't want that to be green because you want to use your own brand colors. And usually for most things, you would go into this source code box to be able to change it. But this just says like list, there's nothing in there with any color codes. So for this particular template, Prosper, and this is where I'd recommend checking if you do find templates where there's something on and you're like, I know I should be able to change the color. If you go into settings and go into custom code, thankfully with this custom code, it does actually put in some instructions to help you figure out what is going on. This particular template actually has a bit of custom code on here where it's got, some rounding. And this one here says this changes the bulleted list to have green arrows instead of dots. And then it gives you this information. So it's actually sort of showing you, and it has the color code here on it. So this is where you would go in, you find the color. You do need to know your actual 6-digit hex code. So if you then go and type that in and click save. Okay, so that's then changed those arrows here. So you can go down the list to look for any other parts where there is a color code. This one is these white ones here. So this is saying for this particular section where there is white arrows. So this is changing it to white. So if you wanted to change that to a different color, you go through here. That's why I'm like, I'm so glad this actually kind of explains it. And there may be other things like there's another one in here about a form text, I believe. So this one's got, this removes the rounded corners of the filter field. This removes the podcast intro section. Delete this code if not using a transparent. So if there's something on your page where you can't find where to change the color, come and have a look through here. And another thing that's really helpful is you can actually make this much bigger, which I forgot until just then. I was like, hang on, to make it easier to scroll down and actually read this. So you can make this as big as you want, and you can, like pull this box right out so that it's easier to read and then go through the list. And you can be like, okay, so this here, so this section, all this goes together. So it's this change. So that's the part of the change here. There's also some font size changes. So if there's anything where you're struggling with the font being a little bit weird. So just wanted to show you that in case you're using any of the Kajabi templates where you cannot see how to change things, because it is really frustrating because you might be like, but I don't want it to be white or I don't want it to be green, and it is a little bit hidden.